start with some proactive strategies that you employ in your life, because stress is inevitable, right? It's never going to go away.
Right, yes.
In any family,
life is stressful.
Right, life is stressful. And I always say, like, everybody has something in their life that makes it uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And this is ours, and it's very obvious, and in some people's lives it's not very obvious, but it's still there. So,
Certainly.
who wants to go first?
Sure, I will, yeah. I just on that, I definitely resonate, of course, with a lot of what you're speaking to, although our children have different diagnoses that is similar. I was just sharing with Jessica, food-seeking behaviors that I'm having to kind of maybe lock some cupboards up now, like Dean will eat a loaf of bread if I turn my head. But, so yeah, that can, just always having to sort of be on guard can be obviously stressful. We're a little bit more hyper-vigilant because we're cautious of behaviors, or going out in public might be anxiety provoking, not only for your kiddo but for yourself, because you're not really sure what to anticipate at all the time. I remember many meltdowns at the Target for not being able to get the DVDs, or doctor's appointments were always stressful, and there were so many of them. So yeah, it's like an evolution and a journey, and I kind of adopted the A motto, which is really just one day at a time. I don't let, or I work on and not letting the residual of the day before or whatever happened the week or the year so to kind of accumulate. So I think that that's a big part of it, is really letting go of what may happen. Even it might be moment to moment. If your kid has a lot of tantrums, I know when Dean was younger, there were tantrums like all the time, and I would get in that mode. And our kids are very in tune with our energy. They can, mirror us in that sense of, we're super stressed out, that could actually sort of provoke them into a tantrum. So it's very important, obviously, to care for yourself, and that can be difficult. I know I'm a single mom. My kids were like 2 and 4, so they were young, where I was it. And I didn't have a lot of time for self-care because, and we're talking not like go get your hair done and your nails done, although those are fabulous, like, things. I do love those, but that's not always practical time-wise and financially wise. That can't be your go-to self-care. So there's a lot of things. My number one go-to, which I practice, is meditation. And I know a lot of people hear the word meditation and it's like, that seems like a big word, and what really is that? And I teach this with my clients. It doesn't have to be big. It could be literally 2 to 3 minutes, where you just literally calming yourself down. You can sit at, like, I have a practice with a morning routine. I think we talked about that, and maybe you'll share a little of yours. Where I just literally, if I'm in that midst of it in the day, I might just go in my room and shut my eyes for 2 to 3 minutes and release whatever energy is going on, because we can't really always turn off our monkey mind. So meditation is not about clearing your mind necessarily. It's just about you being able to calm yourself and self-soothe in a way, like getting to that place where you can feel like your energy is a level that you can deal with whatever it is that's going on, whatever the crisis du jour is or something, right? But when you practice this over time and you develop this into your daily routine, you have that ability in those moments, like you said, not being reactionary to the situation where it's like your kid's having something and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go for it. You can physically, your body has the ability then to call on that experience, and you can literally calm yourself in that moment. Mm-hmm. So that is my number one go-to. It doesn't have to be a big deal. There's so many great apps. There's meditation apps. Mm-hmm. There's things that are free. If meditation is free, come on. It's available to all of us, right? Right. And why aren't we practicing? I don't have time for meditation. There's a quote that says, if you don't have time for meditation, you need to be meditating an hour. So, right? Yeah. So for me, it's like, I started small and I worked my way up, just like going to the gym. You start out small, you don't go in there and you're lifting all the heavy weights. You just do like a little bit at a time and incorporating into your routine. So that would be my biggest number one tool is meditation.
I like that. Tina.
So
take it away, Tina.
Well, I hate to be redundant, but at 3 years old, what happened was Megan, we kept going, like Hillary said, going back to the doctor and everything. She kind of fell on the bell curve. We already had 2 kids. We kind of knew what it looked like, but we still weren't honest with ourselves and didn't really know a strategy, what to do. So we go in, but before we go into the school district, she doesn't stop crying. She cried all the time. And
that's stressful.
And so what I ended up doing was having a backpack. So So first it was a front carrier if I'm trying to cook, and next it was a backpack. Well, I ended up being able to carry her until she was 8 years old in that backpack because too much stimulation, too much noise. But like Hillary said, for me, I was desperate. I ate really healthy. The whole family was eating healthy. I was exercising almost every day, taking a walk at least. We had a dog, and so we were walking. John and I were trading off. But I couldn't take it anymore. Constant crying, I really didn't know what to do. And I had a girlfriend who was a practicing meditator. And I had gone to her house a couple times. And what ended up happening was I was so desperate one day, I said to John the night before, I'm just going to take 5 minutes. I'm going to go find a rock from the garden. Because I couldn't close my eyes. There was so much noise going on in my head. I picked up the rock from the garden, and I went and I sat down and I decided I was going to sit for 5 minutes. And I kept my eyes open and I looked at the rock. And I looked and I continued to focus on the sounds around me and the rock. Now, this rock happened to have a crevice in it, so it had like little bumps. But I did that, and after about a month of 5 minutes, a couple times a week, I felt better. I felt like all of this hype around meditation, I was never going to be a good meditator. I'm totally active.
Right.
I can't sit still. And yet, I did that. And that was, so Megan had just turned 3 years old. So that was 16 and a half years ago. And over the years, I have increased my practice. I've studied, I've read books, I've taken classes. But the basic premise is that we can't do it. We can't manage our own stress. And this is what I work on with my clients also, is we have to give ourselves space. And like Hillary said, meditation, when you take a breath, it instantly calms you down because you're accustomed to it. So that's one piece, but I thought I'd share something that happened yesterday. So Megan got a certificate of completion from high school, so she's done last week. And
Yay, and then also, what?
I know, oh no,
A little joyous and then a little like freak out, right? I bet
well,
like, that's gotta be the terms of
so we were gone. Her sister graduated from
Okay.
college. We get back on Monday. It's Tuesday morning. I've got work. John has work. And Megan picks up her phone. And she's on her phone, I don't know, 5 hours. And I freak out because I said to Megan, you can't spend all summer on your phone. What kind of rules are we going to have? Let's create rules. Megan looks at me like, what?
Right.
So anyway,
Yeah.
I talked to a girlfriend,
Yeah.
and that's why this group is so amazing. I talked to my next door neighbor who has been my next door neighbor for 20 years.
Oh, that's so fun.
And she said to me, Tina, she just got out of school. Just give it a few days.
That is, yeah.
Don't take it so seriously. Don't freak out. Just relax. And in my head, all I can think of is, she's not like typical kids. She's not going to get tired of this.
No, that's true.
And then, so what happens is my thinking makes me stressed. And as soon as I remind myself that that doesn't have to be the truth.
Right.
That
Say
it
that
can
again.
be different.
Yeah. Right.
I can choose to make this just a transition period for both of us. And then she goes into the special ed summer program next week. So if I can reduce my stress by changing the way I think about her being on the phone.
Yes.
If I say it's okay, it's normal, then all of a sudden I calm down. And so the whole environment changes, and she is on the phone. And I constantly have a reminder for myself, and if I need help, I call my next door neighbor. So meditation is one piece that is in my morning daily ritual, and we can talk about that if you want. But but that's how I manage stress. I create a morning ritual, but I also use other resources, like my neighbor.
Right.
So good.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, and what you said made me also realize that what contributes to our own stress within ourselves is when there's a gap between our expectations and what is.
Sure.
And Tina and I talked about that. And that is what will really, really mess you up. If I'm expecting Ryan to not be anxious, just be calm all day long and not let any little silly little thing bother him, which is completely unrealistic.
Right.
Then when he does react in a way that's consistent with Prader-Willi syndrome or autism or whatever it is that they're dealing with, then I'm gonna get upset. I'm gonna get angry. That's not helpful. It's not helpful in the moment. It's not helpful at all. That is not a helpful reactive strategy
No.
at all. So I think we have to be careful, really, really careful about our expectations.